Greetings from the middle of the map here in Kansas City. This is Renee Benson at AV Renee KC. You are listening to and watching the AV Life.
Hey, everybody. I'm coming to you from the West Coast, Los Angeles. My name is Murphy Daley, written by Murphy. I'm an AV veteran, project manager, and author, and you're joining us for the AV Life.
Hey, welcome to the AV Life podcast. My name is Joe Way. I am coming from the the last bastion of California, Orange County, the great part. And you are watching, listening. You're doing everything on the AV Life.
And I'm your host, coming from the, I'm going to say equally as great state of New Jersey as California. And you are watching and listening to the AV Life. All right, folks. We are back. We took a week off while I was up in Boston with the fine folks from Midwich. Had a great event with them, hanging out on the 33rd floor of 60 State Street. Amazing venue. So if you ever get a chance to go to any event out there, I'm gonna say
you looked amazing from the pictures, and they had a band and everything
playing. Oh yeah, an Aerosmith cover band. And actually, wow. So little known fact, and a friend of ours, she is a huge Aerosmith fan, and they are the only, and she confirmed this, they are the only cover band that is officially endorsed by Steven Tyler and Aerosmith. So like they're legit. And the guy I took a selfie with him, like he takes his role as the Steven Tyler piece like very seriously, and he does an excellent job. So
wow.
So they put on a great show and a great way to wrap up the day. So so Midwich, you know what? I think Midwich comes second to Hetma throwing a party.
Don't you say that.
I said second. That still means we're in first.
Oh, okay. We're still in first. Okay,
we're still in first.
Good.
Yes.
I had
second.
I had that backwards for a
Joe's so nervous.
Oh, seriously, my heart started racing.
No,
I'm like, okay, what do we got to do now?
We still throw a great party, but they came in because I mean, let's look at it this way. They had that for their Tech Expo. They had the piano bar in Orlando 2 years back to back, and both of those. 2 years like off years, but both of those events were amazing and like had people out the door waiting to get in.
They do a great party. They do it as long as everyone knows we do a better party.
Yes, exactly.
Then we're good.
Hetma is still number one. Midwich is just trying to do what they can.
It's good to have a close competition.
Yeah. So before we get too much further off topic, let me introduce our guest here tonight from 22 Miles, Kevin Kwasneski. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right. Well, we're definitely glad to have you. Just for those who may not know you or know what 22 Miles does, please give us a little bit of a background.
So 22 Miles, we're a digital signage company located out of Atlanta, Georgia. And we're mostly on the software side. We can help with remote installations, but kind of the bread and butter to it is it started out with wayfinding. Essentially, what I had been told is that way back when, I think it was 12 or 13 years ago, no platform really had a good independent wayfinding system. So that's what 22 Miles started with, was a wayfinding system to be able to do 3D graphics and everything like that. And then aside from just the wayfinding, it needed its own platform. So it had to be put into the rest of the templates and different things. So there's software content management system. So it's very, very start to finish as far as digital signage goes.
Very cool. Well, we're definitely glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Always had good to have fresh blood here and on the AV Life. So I will say the last week has been like we had a lot going on in the AV world, and definitely in higher ed too. Like between Tech Connect, we had the Hetma Roadshow in Nashville at Vanderbilt. We had EDUCAUSE also in Nashville.
Rave Long.
Rave launch, yes, Rave launch week. That they had all their events happening too.
Maybe
Yeah.
these webs, like there was so much stuff going on last week.
There was.
And then on top of it all, Biamp acquired all the
The IP, yeah.
ClearOne.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, I
Assets.
didn't know that.
all the
Mhm.
assets. That was the word. They couldn't for the life of me come up with assets for some reason.
That's
They
a
came up-
lot.
That yeah, like that was. I don't like throwing this game the word out, but game changing is definitely I think that's part of it. I mean that changes their portfolio like fivefold, for the amount of stuff that they have now. Like it's a lot.
Yep.
So
It's
I mean
huge.
that's and like I feel like it came out of left field too. So I don't
I've
think
been on
anybody.
PTO since last Wednesday, so this is my first day back.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like the big like M&A news as in the last week. I think that actually dropped like a week ago. I think it was it was on Monday last week. I think
I was gonna say Monday or Tuesday. It was early.
Yeah. Like I
Mhm.
remember like finding out about it right as I was like packing or something like that, getting ready to go to Boston or something like that. So
Well, I found out at the Hetma Road show in Nashville, and I asked BC if he now has to escort Hooper off the ground.
Uh-oh.
But people know the story. Okay, here's the too long didn't read story. ClearOne subpoenaed BC to talk about why they chose Shure or whatever like that back when the whole thing was on. So he has
There's a
this
lot
thing
of that
against-
going
there you
on.
go.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the inside joke of now do you have
Gotcha.
to get rid of Biamp because of it, so.
Okay, gotcha.
Here you go. So there, the crazy looks on the face. No, Hooper didn't do anything wrong. It was
That's okay. There you go. Now it all makes sense. Okay. All right. So yeah, definitely a busy week. So yeah. So Murphy, I hear tell that you have a PM minute for us this week.
I do. So I didn't know about Biamp and ClearOne because I was out of town, but I'm back. And being out of town, I was hoping when I returned to find that my orange tree in my front yard had ripe fruit for me. This is one of those oranges.
Ooh.
Yes. Now, it looks pretty close to ripe, right?
Yeah.
However, if I show you this,
Oh.
ew, it's split open and it got dry. And when it splits like that, it's like damaged. So it ripens faster. So I came back and saw a few of these ones that had split and thought it was ripe. Because it's fooling me with these very orange. They smell good. Anyway, thing is, projects shouldn't be taken up until they're ripe. And sometimes they will fool you. And this very devastatingly attractive, ripe, orange looking fruit, if you take a closer look, has damage. So now this is kind of a PM minute that might apply more to salespeople. Because people who have projects, their clients come in and they're like, oh, well, we want to do this thing and we want what you've got. But with experience, you can know, like, look, they sound like they want it, like they're ready. But if you take a deeper look, you can see there's flaws. There's flaws. And that doesn't mean that this whole fruit is not ready. I could actually cut the parts off in this fruit and save it and juice some of it, etc. But in the world of people and projects, in this case, there's a lot more time that you have. You can say, okay, let's add to the project a little more research and put more into the project at the beginning, even though they sound like they're ready to go, but if you take a look at it, you can see a little deeper, that's gross and yucky, and they're not actually ready. And they think they are. They look like we're eager. We want this digital signage. We want it so bad. But you find out that, they may think they want a content management system, but they don't perhaps have content. Something like that. You can show up to go, look, you're not going to get the benefit of what you think you're getting until we do a little more ripening. So that was what I was thinking as I came back, and I was disappointed, but more ripening is happening on the rest of the fruit of the tree.
Wow.
Yeah, I like it.
That's a
I like
very
it
good
a lot.
analogy. I've actually never heard of that before and didn't know that oranges could do that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I've never seen an orange like split open like that.
No, it's sad.
I've seen bananas do that, like, but not.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. But
It's true of customers too. They can be like, we want it so bad. And you're like, yeah, but you do not really see this ick that you're not seeing.
Well, it's funny.
Customers are the worst.
They can be.
Yeah, we can be.
No. No.
Yes. Well, Tim, you have internal customers, so you're not excluded.
I do.
From
Yes.
the
No, I do
complaining
have my
customers.
internal customers, and that's a whole nother. Actually, we won't get into those war
Save
stories
that.
until save
Yeah.
that. We're coming to that. But I will say that actually there is a project I'm wrapping up, or I thought I was starting to wrap up, that I think I picked too early. As it looked like it was right, but it wasn't. We're outfitting one of our conference rooms. It's getting a full refresh and everything like that. And we were having like some minor network issues, and we got the network up and going. We got things online, did all the programming, and then found out that, and like pretty much we're ready to go with the system. And then what popped up? The firewall for the network. Because
Oh,
and that was the ugly part that came up and stopped us. We were, yes, exactly. The split was the firewall. So that's what we're actually in the midst of. I guess you could say coring out is the
Right.
firewall, and
Cut
getting
out.
that.
mhm.
Yeah, cutting out the bad
Save what
stuff.
you
And
can.
well, and to be fair, yes, firewalls are important. I don't need my security folks coming at me, but it was not. It was
We love your security.
exactly. Yes, James, Frank, all you guys. It's like, yes, security is king. And I will never downplay that. But in this case, it was an unknown factor because the building that we were in used to house like student medical data. It was for all
weird
regular
data.
student data. Like there were so many things that needed to be protected that the firewall was essential. But all those systems moved out of the building this summer, but then nothing was done about the firewall. So we're still we're navigating that. So that was an unknown factor that caused my orange to split.
That sort of thing.
So
Yeah.
all
It
right.
crops up. So
Any other tidbits from our crew here for that?
Well, in her example,
Mm-hmm.
if you have paired the right CMS partner with a beautiful display with a system on a chip that works seamlessly with a CMS partner, like 22 miles,
There you
need
go.
less tracking of the orange.
Yep.
Right.
Shameless plugging. Love it.
Love it.
But it's true, and it's Kevin is right here. Other partners are available too, but Kevin is here and can explain all the beauty of what 22 Mile has to offer too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are hardware agnostic. We can work with bright signs, SoC, Androids, Windows 11 and 10. So we're everything.
Nice. Very cool.
That's my new latest hashtag I use all the time is hashtag partnerships matter
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
for this exact kind of reason. Yeah.
We could do a whole episode on
We
partnerships,
could.
Matt. Or yeah.
We have over 100. It might take me a minute for my partners.
Wow.
We'd pick like a
You
handful.
pick the best. Yeah.
And you have me in the PlayStation camp too. So
Yeah.
There you
go.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Murphy. That was very thought provoking and deep in a way.
Yes, I have lots of found minutes.
Yes.
Oh, as a slight outro, I was telling my husband, like, I got to come up with PM minute as whatever. And then I saw this because I'm like, can I save it? I wanted to try to save it. I thought, wait, this would be a great metaphor. And he wasn't letting. He said, do you have what did he call it? Like intro music. I said, absolutely. Tim's got us.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, no, for you. That would be awkward. That would be hard to do. But then he started looking up project management songs.
Oh boy.
And was delighted to discover that there are quite a few suggested ones.
Really?
Many of them begin with songs about keeping up your energy to keep going on a project. And one of the top ones is Eye of the Tiger.
There you go. Yeah.
Like,
what?
oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
and we're like, yep. Stay on it.
Very-
And then they also said there was the other one, I was like, are these all going to be boomer songs? But not all of them. One of them was what's her name? Issues. Sing a song. What's that one song? Michael's, I think. Anyway. So
I'll
I
have
got
to.
issues.
I'll have to go to ChatGPT and have it compose a little intro music for you there, Murphy. I don't know. I have like this like earworm of like a 50s jingle of like, and here comes the PM minute with Murphy, like that old like radio jingle type.
I don't know why you're talking about ChatGPT. Let me think about it a minute. Got my keyboard right over there.
Yeah. Well, I could
think about it.
Yeah. I've never used it for music before, so I'd have to see how it. Yeah.
Anyhow, but it would be awkward. I don't know. I'm not sure if that would be a great thing, but
I just need it's just a button. That's all it is. Okay. It's like, hey, we bring in Murphy with the PM minute, bing, and there it goes. Off we go. But anyway, we were talking, and we wanted to bring Kevin in here, and Rachel Bradshaw was a key in bringing Kevin in here, and I'm going to call her out because she's quietly lurking in the back, listening to us as we're having this episode. But it was her idea, and we brought it here. We do have we've had our horror stories about AV and all that stuff, and now that we're in November, and actually you're listening to this tomorrow, will be Viz Veterans Day. So if you're a veteran and listening to this podcast, thank you for your service to our country, or to what I'm going to say for any country, because there are plenty of folks that have done the same thing for their countries, and they serve their time. But this day is for our American veterans. So thank you for your service. We're glad that you're part of our vertical, or listening in, or taking interest in our vertical. So thank you for that. So we all have our war stories. We've been in this industry long enough that we've, and we. I just wanted to give credit where credit is due, Rachel. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat as she's chiming in, we've all been there. Whether it's been war stories on projects, war stories on product releases, or faculty that have been challenging. So I'm going to open up the floor. And actually, Kevin, I mean, it sounds like this was a conversation that you and Rachel actually had. That
yes,
as well. That so I'm going to let you start the flow here, and so let's hear one of your war stories here.
Sure. So actually, kind of going back to the orange analogy, I think it was before my PTO. I was trying to get everything in line. It was the Monday before. I had gotten a panicked call from an install that wasn't supposed to happen for about another week and a half. They had essentially kind of pushed up the timelines themselves almost 2 weeks. And they this needs to be installed today. The client is on site, and it wasn't a small project. It was I think it was a 5x3 video wall or something. It was something ridiculous that shouldn't have been pushed up. There was definitely a lot more testing that needed to be done. There was calibration of the hardware and just testing of the content. So in the time that essentially kind of the client was out to, I think, lunch or somewhere else at the moment. Myself, a couple of our other developers, the guys on site that were doing the hardware, they had the security cameras pointed at the video wall. We were remoted in so we could actually see what was going on in real time. It was a huge collaboration effort. But by the end of the day, I think ended up being about 8:30 p.m. on the first day, and then on Tuesday, I think we were till about maybe 3:30 or so p.m. We got it up to where the client was satisfied. Like nothing, there weren't clipping issues or anything else. There was kind of a minor color issue, but the client was aware that that was actually the content that they had sent, so that was not on us. But that was definitely one that kind of came out of left field. That it was, I knew I was expecting it, but it was one of those ones where it was like, this got pushed way up.
Yeah, and imagine what you could have done with 2 more weeks.
Oh, exactly.
Preparation. Yeah.
Yep. And getting, rather than also just the kind of the experimental content, which was just like a logo and like a couple different motion graphics to be able to test. I mean, we could have actually had a full testing pattern. So yeah, it definitely was. I've got a couple notes on here, kind of the cart before the horse of just wanting it up, wanting it done as soon as possible, and kind of jumping over everything else that needs to make something, especially when it involves multiple people and multiple companies, just trying to make it work.
Yes, my orange was a good story today. I've been there. I'm like, yeah, I remember one time, one particularly powerful video wall. And actually, it wasn't that one. It was the same client, though, earlier. And that was a 2 a.m. troubleshooting kind of thing. So, yeah, 8:30.
Yeah.
Yep, a couple of different people.
Late. Yes.
Yep. And all that.
Keep them all there. Please don't leave. Please don't leave.
Yep. Now it's, I guess I can go into one of the ones I talked with Rachel was, it was a horror story, but in the end, a really, really cool experience because I had never worked on anything like this. So it was, and I'll kind of lead into something funny. It was on New Year's Day. And I'd taken the red eye to the Atlanta airport. So I was there at like 5 a.m. before the gates opened up. It's dead silent in the airport. And then you just hear in the bathroom somebody retching. And it's like,
kind of like Vegas.
Yeah, welcome to that and all that. But it was just funny. It's like I'm going for this work install. It's like it's half New Year's Eve party, half that, and then just dead silent, and you hear that. But that aside, I got into the location, and they kind of held me hostage on site until the project was completed. So I got in. I don't remember if I had checked into the hotel or I went immediately there, but again, we had a couple different developers working with me remotely. They had set up content, but they never really tested it because when I got in, they were actually still physically installing some of the hardware.
Ooh.
So what it was actually three different things. There was one that was supposed to have a projection down onto, or a projection on the side of a 3D model. One was supposed to be a 180-degree curved screen with projectors, and then the other one I think was just a straight touchscreen, so that was the easy one. But the projectors weren't lining up with the 3D model, so there were issues with that. And then when we put the actual content that had been approved by the client on there, because the curved screen was such a huge arc, it was actually giving some of us motion sickness.
Oh no!
Because you could use the touch screen for a controller to be able to scroll around. So think of kind of like the Google Street View in a sense, but controlling that on I don't even know how large it was, but essentially 180 degrees all around you. So scrambling to figure out experimenting to try to change that content, and then switching gears completely, and then going with static images so it didn't move. And then also they were like, okay, actually this building and this building are under construction, we don't want those, so there were content changes on there as well. And it was definitely one of the trickiest projects that I've worked with 22 Miles, but in a sense it was one of my favorites, because I knew our software could do that kind of stuff because I had seen it on our website and all the demo projects and videos, but I'd never actually helped install one. So at the end of the day, it was a bit hellish to try to get everything up, but at the end of that, everything was installed, all 3 systems. They looked great and performed great. So it was, at the end of the day, or end of the night, really, it was really just amazing to walk away and say, hey, I'm part of a company that did this.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, Joe, you've been surprisingly quiet.
Well,
I mean,
Okay.
I'm not.
Well, you said that it's.
I'm not complaining, but at the same time, you usually have something to say. So that's.
Well, you said this is war stories. I've never had anything go wrong. Everything that I've always done has gone perfectly.
Surprised to hear this.
Without any problems. So there are no war stories to tell.
And you are a lucky man.
I always say, even in my personal life, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any. So.
I could hear that. I mean,
this is one of those, like, it's like, which war story do I actually pick, right? And because, I mean, that's the whole thing about, like, I think we've all had something go south, right? We've all had, the project that didn't go right, the deadline that got pushed up, the money that ran out, name them all. We've all had them all, right? And I think that's, the thing is that's actually part of the excitement of what we do. Not that I want things to go wrong, but the fact that, our projects are organic things, right? And I know Murphy may hate that because you want to see it in a spreadsheet and lined up. But right back to the orange, it's organic. But I think, because the thing is, I think a lot of times, I think the war stories, and this has come over my career, and actually I just had this the other day with one of our stakeholders who we had sent an MOU to, like months ago. They came back saying they didn't like it, sent their own MOU back to us, and we're like, oh no, this can't be it. And we ended up getting a call together. It turns out we were all on the same page. We just weren't talking the same language. And we all, and literally what we ended up putting together was exactly what we sent the first time and what they sent the second time, but in common language that brought us all together. So I think a lot of the war stories, the things that go south, were always because of lack of communication, or not necessarily lack of communication, lack of understanding. And not saying, okay, because, we link a lot of our users, right? They're not in our industry. They're not going to speak tech. Right? They don't know the words for what they want to say and what they mean. They just know I was X place and I want that. And I don't know how to put it into words, but then we translate it into our own thing, which then our programmers turn it into their own thing, and our UX design turn it their own thing. And then the marketing person puts it their own thing. And next thing you know, you have this thing that doesn't ever match the very first thing they wanted. Right. And I think that's where every time I think of, my anything that has gone wrong, and it goes to even people management, right? Like a lot of times with our teams, it's just not understanding where they're coming from, because a lot of times people can only articulate in the way in their worldview, right? We don't know that, until we actually take the time to stop and say, can I repeat back what I think you just said? Or can we come back and say, is this what you're trying to intend by what you're trying to suggest that you want in this space, right? And often we always want to jump, especially technologists, want to jump to the solution, right? And even worse, now here's what I think a lot of higher ed does. We get so stuck on standardization that we don't even listen because we're already, the second they start talking, like, oh, they're getting this system in that room. Because we already have our package A, package B. This is how it's going to be. We see it in digital signage. Here's how you're going to get this. This is how we do it. And I think that it is a tough line to walk, but it takes away from that individuality and actually answering the needs of the customer at that same time. And I just said a lot. See, I made up for being quiet, and I don't even know that I made a point, but I did speak a lot.
You did make a point. It was good, Joe. And that's why I go to you, is that you do as much as I complain that sometimes you take over my show, but you always have a good point. Like that's
I've been a crew member for 3 episodes in a row now.
I know.
I can't ruin it tonight.
He's trying to be so good.
He's doing a great job of it.
Kevin, you're making him be all very professional. I don't know. What was it? 53 screen video wall? You just
5x3.
Yeah, it was a 5x3. I don't know if we've done that large.
5x3.
Actually,
I'm like 53. Holy crap! No, 5x3.
We have with LED panels. We've got a couple of installs in Times Square. There's a big, huge Five Below billboard that one was a really cool install.
Nice. I'll have to keep an eye out for that one next time I'm in the city.
But if you don't mind if I interject, something that Joe said kind of definitely rang true for me as well, where it's almost a different language versus the technologists and either the content providers and some of the other things and some of the other kind of things that Rachel and I had talked about. It's almost interesting because I've been doing this since 2013, digital signage. And it's just kind of some of the language and all those different things we just kind of take for granted. So when you're talking to that person that's not the tech savvy or doesn't know it, it's almost like you have to kind of stop and take a step back and be like, okay, this person isn't in my shoes. And you have to go a little bit slower or say things a little bit differently than you generally would talk internally to say some of your colleagues.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely been a key thing. Definitely, is that having that common language, like you said, Joe, like that, especially like when you're dealing with faculty members, from a higher ed perspective too. Like they're as much as we're end users and installers, but then our ultimate end user is the faculty, and being able to talk to them in ways that they understand is huge. Because that's the only way they're going to become successful. And then that's how we are successful, is knowing that they're doing what they need to in the classroom. I think I've talked about, my biggest war story, I guess, would be the one that we ended up working over Labor Day weekend. And that's with classes in New Jersey starting the day after Labor Day. So like we were finishing up a new construction academic building, and we were behind schedule, and mostly because of construction, but construction delays caused AV installation to be delayed. And so we were under the gun to make sure that all the classrooms were installed and tested and ready to go on Labor Day, where they then also got the TCO, and we finished up all that and had classes 8:30 in the morning on Tuesday. I don't know how much they paid or who they had to pay to get the inspector there to sign off on the TCO on Labor Day, but they made it happen. And it was probably the most stressful AV project I've been on to date. And that was like 8 years ago at this point. And you have stresses of other projects and stuff like that. I've worked late nights going into like the week before the semester starts and stuff like that. But this was a whole nother thing where if like the rooms weren't done, we couldn't have classes. Like it was a whole building of classrooms that we were like all hands on deck of all the engineers, and everybody was there for the weekend, making sure it got done. But yeah, I'm thankful it happened in a way, because, as a team, we came together. It was, and I was only working for the department for like 2 years at that point. So I was still like a youngin at Rutgers at that point. We bonded over that. We saw it through to its completion. And yeah, there was some sort of satisfaction about seeing it done, like in that short frame of time. So, and I'm very thankful for our integrator, who we still use today, it was another set of hands helping out with the install on that project. So yeah, definitely good all
Stories.
night war story. Got the scars, but they remind us of, wait, how is it? The scars remind us that the past is real.
Mhm.
So that's
Papa Roach.
Thank you. Yep.
Nice.
I'm glad that somebody got it at least. So yeah. What about Renee? You got something there?
I do. I was thinking about it when I saw the headline when you sent the email over, but
And don't mind the whirling noise as Joe raises and lowers
I
his
know.
desk.
I figured it out after he stood up.
Yeah.
What? Is it coming through? I keep muting the
definitely
mic.
heard it. It was.
I'm muting the mic.
Was that? No, you weren't, or it wasn't muting.
Is it muted now? Am I muted? I'm muted,
No, you're
right?
not. No, you're not.
I'm not muted.
Yep.
But how am I not muted? I'm pushing the mute button. See, it's red. Look, it's red.
Maybe
That
you're not.
screen there
Maybe
doesn't
you're not using that
Red is
microphone.
mute. Well, now what?
Maybe you're not using that microphone.
I am too. If I'm not, then that's crazy. Let's find out. While Renee does this, allow me to. I'm trying not to take over the show here.
Well,
okay?
I mean, you
I feel more like
with the of the table, I couldn't.
It is too using this mic. So why is it not?
Yeah.
Maybe the red light is broken. It's
There, now
actually-
now you're muted because I did it myself.
Oh.
Ain't technology
Wow.
And you're back.
So much
And you're back. I brought you back.
Well, it's good to know that mic button doesn't work, or that mute button. I mean,
all right.
I could have been totally embarrassing myself, thinking that I'm turned off the whole time. And...
Yeah.
I was.
And we did hear you blow your nose too, by the way.
Well, that's good. I came back from Educause.
That explains why you did that. I was like, but anyway.
Well, let me tell you, Tennessee and Georgia, y'all have see, I'm getting my y'all out. Y'all have quite my allergies going crazy, and I'm home for 5 days and I can't get over this thing. So there you go. But you know what, Renee? We would love to hear your war story.
Yes, please.
About since you saw the email.
I want to hear what it's like from the sales seat.
Well, I thought about it when I saw it, and I thought, well, should I say that one? Because it's the biggest one I've probably ever been through. But I thought, but good came of it. So I'm glad that you just said that, Tim, because it made me feel better about telling my story. So this is a school district that I'm not going to use any names because they're still customers of mine today. But this was back in the day when unseating a school district of significant size from a projector or whatever to another projector brand is a really big deal. Well, we were able to get that done. But because of how they went out to bid, it was lowest bid on everything for the install, for the mounting, for the cabling, for the speaker, like all the things. So I think we installed over the summer. I think by September, I was getting phone calls about all the buzzing. All the projectors are causing these buzzing, and it's in the high school, it's in the elementary school, it's in the Performing Arts Center, all this, there's issues all over the district. We need to come in and replace all these projectors. This is a major issue. And it's like, hold on. So fast forward to getting down to visit and seeing this. Before I say that, I tried to get them to use certain products because we're partners with great mounting companies, great cable companies, great installers, but they weren't the lowest bid. So it didn't go that way. It was 600 projectors installed in the most hideous, awful, and I can say that because the company who installed them is no longer in business, but so awful that, I mean, I literally remember looking up going, please tell me you're putting students underneath this projector because this little piece of plastic is going to break in half in a second.
I've had
But
that.
anyway, lift up the ceiling to go look at the cabling, and I let's just say it was like somebody took a rope and just went, here, USB cable, here, USB extender, and just laying all over on top of the lights, around the HVAC. I was like, oh. And in turn, it was a mess because the school didn't budget for an entire redo of an install of every projector in the entire district. It was really bad. So, you know, all I could do was work with my vendors to provide really great products and a kick-ass price on new install and all that stuff. But it was such a disaster. And when I say this story in a couple minutes, it was 3 months of just nightmare. I want Japan to come here and look at these. I want this. I want this. I'm going to sue this person. And I'm going to, and then when you call somebody out because of what happened, then that's a disaster. It was just a nightmare. It was an AV war story, nightmare, all the things. But in the end, they realized what not to do for future installs, right? What to vet the product, to vet the installers, to do a little more than just a projector shootout to decide what you're going to do in the rooms. But I'll never forget that because it was like, you know, this is an industry where we don't burn bridges, right? And you're all about your reputation and your name. And there were some people that are still in the industry that don't have very good reputations because of how this all went down. So I feel bad for them, but it's been many years. Obviously, maybe they've had time to correct that, but that was, you know, and you're fighting with installing during the school year now because it was no longer where we could get in and do whatever we wanted to do. It was a nightmare, war story, but all good from here on out. And they do things a lot different now. Their bidding process is way different, and they don't have to take the bottom dollar price anymore, bidder anymore. So, and they have really nice vetting process now of how they're installing their classrooms when they do their refreshes and that sort of thing. So, and I'm the hero.
Yay.
Good for you, Renee.
My company at the time, I should say. That was a disaster, but I'm glad you mentioned that, Tim, because now they know what not to do. And you know, you always learn from your mistakes. And that was just a really, really expensive, long one. But thank God those kind of things don't happen every day. The stress was like,
Sorry. The governor race announcements are coming through for New Jersey too. So sorry. It's a busy evening of stuff. So but it's funny. And you know what? My favorite is when two manufacturers start pointing the finger at each other, like for like who did this and whose fault is this. And we had a how do I do this without blowing up names?
I know.
So we had a certain sound processing company that we were working with for our audio in our classrooms, and we were working with a video conferencing hardware company that
You're doing an excellent job, Tim.
I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm trying real hard here. And they had a wireless connectivity solution that was causing audio interference, but they claimed it really couldn't have been doing that. But the other guys were saying, well, it's definitely not us. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. But I have to give the props to our sound engineer because he's the one that figured it out and actually did correct the issue with the sound processing company. So that was a mess of like a good month of going back and forth between manufacturers to like say, hey, let's figure this issue out. And so that was a minor war story. That was more of a skirmish. It was
yeah, same.
So, what about anything from you, Murphy? Got anything to add to our any war stories from your?
Well, I have one. The biggest war story ever is the time that I got this very large customer had done this bid like a chum in the water, man. I had to sit across a counter with a bunch of other competitors going for this bid to get this done. And so we had to be really tight. We had to accept whatever they wanted for this big fat job. They wanted to refresh, 56 rooms, and they wanted it to happen at night. And they wanted not to have they wanted no one to be visible while this was happening. They wanted to have us come in and refresh each room over the course of 6 weeks, refresh all these rooms and not be seen. No one was going to be there, but they were just going to have us come in the middle of the night like magic elves and change everything, and they were going to come use it the next day. And it really happened. We said yes. And I knew that I was going to be attached to this as the project manager. And the salesperson was like, yeah. And a whole lot of stuff happened to make this come to fruition. And I'm like, we do have to put this stuff somewhere in order to install it during the night. But we have to put it. So they finally let us put it in like the parking garage. A week's worth of equipment in the parking garage. And then, that was back when I was at that time still tracking my minutes of work as to which project I was working on, like a lawyer does. And that was the one time I literally know that I worked more than 80 hours a week for at least a month. And so I'm like, okay, the amount of sleep that I had was very little because I was up remotely managing all of it. And I had to send get the report of what they had done at 2 or 3 in the morning, type up the report to the people and then send it out to them so they knew whether or not they didn't realize that they couldn't walk in and have it work, because even they were like, they didn't want to not have their conference room not work. So they're like, yeah, we're going to schedule the ones that are being refreshed. We're just going to not have scheduled those for the next day. I'm like, that's probably wise. But I did tell them whether we were going to have to keep the project going. So that happened. And I still think we should have a reunion with the team that I worked on with that. That was really wonderful. Those people. I should, I don't know, just say, how you doing? When was that? Gosh, that was not quite 10 years ago, but still, even they remember it. Even they remember.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up that you should bring everybody together for a party or something like that, as a reunion. It's let's reminisce and reevaluate and everything like that. It's almost, and I know we've talked about that on past PM minutes,
Veterans.
The end of project wrap up.
The lessons learned. My goodness, learned. Yes.
The post-mortem, I think it's called.
The autopsy.
Well, that's what I've always heard it called. So
yeah. I mean, I think the unless they changed it, the Project Management Institute calls it a lessons learned. You're supposed to have a lessons learned after, which is probably the kindest way of describing it, rather than let's look over the dead body of the project that we just killed. But yes, there is a chapter of that in my soon-to-be-released book called Lessons Learned and Archiving the Project, because you want to gather all the lessons learned. So the people, especially the team that I worked with on that particular project, were hired contractors. So we hired somebody for a set price for the whole job. Yeah. And if, though, in particular, when I have worked on projects where I was working with my specific coworkers, people that were going to be around, in particular, you want to come together and talk about lessons learned so you can say, this one thing caused a lot of trouble and made a delay. So you want to have a place where you can say that and it's helpful and doesn't get like festered, like that jerk did that thing. I never want to work with him again, or I'm going to get back at him. You don't want to have that happen. So that's a lot of what can be good about the lessons learned.
Nice.
Or, don't have a postmortem because let's not have dead bodies.
All right. Well,
lessons learned. That's
lessons learned. Lessons learned. We'll keep it very gentle.
Yep.
Lessons
One
learned.
I kind of go by this philosophy in life. My favorite guitarist said this. It's always think like a student. So always learning, whether it's with cooking, whether it's in your professional life, anything, just always be learning, always be a sponge, keep thinking like a student. And I don't know. I like learning. So
yeah, I like that. Yeah,
that sounds like a martial arts thing to say.
Yeah.
Sounds like a James King thing to say.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's because he says always be learning.
Always be learning.
Yep.
And now he has to retweet.
Yep.
He's going to have to.
It took all the way to the 51st minute of the episode today.
We're already at 51.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how great this is going today. So, but this is where we're also going to start wrapping it up here today. So, sadly, so yeah. So I mean, Murphy, that was great way to wrap that all up.
I'm still in the flashbacks. No,
no, a little PTSD of
yeah, we all are.
It's like I need some water. It's like
I sure wish I still had the video or the pictures I took of that, because I think that was like pre-cloud backup kind of things.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's sitting on a phone in a dumpster somewhere or
in the AV graveyard that is my basement.
Oh, there you go. Well, at least you have it somewhere. So
one quick funny one that I have is wasn't with 22 Miles. It was a previous digital signage company that I worked with where we did a lot of hardware stuff as well. But the client, we just get this box and we open it up and it looks like a shattered windshield.
Ooh.
And then we get an email and said, this should have arrived. This is our touchscreen. Will it still work?
So
somebody knocked it over and the whole thing shattered. And it's like, well, I was always curious. I was like, all right, well, I know it's like safety glass at least. But it's like, no, this will not work. We need to order you a new one.
Oh wow, it's amazing sometimes. But so Kevin, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us here tonight. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your war stories with us.
You should come again. You didn't even talk about the guitars behind your head either.
Well,
yep, I got a total of 12 of them.
So that if you want to take a quick look at Kevin's collection back there, go over to YouTube or to higheredav.com and you can watch the video clip from there. Yeah, you can see his awesome background there. But yeah, and we'll as the month of November progresses here with HETMA and Higher Ed AV, we are going with our gratitude for November. That's our theme for our road to 10K for HETMA. So make sure you listen in, read the articles at higheredav.com, take part in the community conversations on hetma.org. Yeah, thank you to Joe and to Renee and to Murphy as well. So thank you very much for joining us all here tonight. And thank you to our listeners as always. And as I always say, until our next adventure.
Thank you.